Well, the side hatch, you can see that, is now been sanded. So it's now ready for a first coat of protection varnish. It needs a few more coats of varnish on, and also I need to fill in the pocket holes with well, you can use doweling. I've actually got some pre-cut covers. Basically it's a piece of doweling that's chamfered at the edges, but can I find them? Can I heck? I've got a tub of 200 of them somewhere at home. As soon as I find them, I'll complete that. So the first thing I need to do is to measure to see where my fixings are going to go. And starting from this end, I've got two fixings here on each, well, three fixings on each side. I've got this one, I've got that one and that one, and the same the other side. As I'm coming down the boat, I've only got four. I've got that one, that one, that one, and of course the one on the other side. So now I've transferred my marks onto a piece of wood. So I've marked at 2 inches, 14, 16, 19, 21, and then I've done the same coming back from the other side. So 2, 14, 16, 19 and 21. I've just drawn perpendicular line with a square, and I've also, those measurements, so the 2 inches there, put a little red cross on it, and also the one at 14 to 16, a red cross, and also 19 to 22, a red cross. Ditto this side, because when I start doing my horizontal cuts, I don't want to cut near there, because they're going to be where this battening is actually fixed. The cuts I'm going to do, I've just sort of guessed where I'm starting from on these. I've done them 2 inches or 50 mil from where my fixings are, and then I've done them at every inch or every 25 mil or whatever the equivalent in metric and inches, and I've put some horizontal lines on there, because what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be cutting so far down the wood. These cuts are called kerfs, and this process is called kerf-bending. And now what I'm doing, I've got my template set up at the back of the saw. I'm doing 3 battens at a time. I've also adjusted the thumb screw on the saw, so it will only go down so far, as you will see there. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut everywhere you can see a black line. So you'll see the notches I've already started to put on here are about halfway down the wood, and they correspond to the notches on my template. I've got another one here which I've already prepared. I've been doing 2 or 3 at a time. Now I'll show you actually how I cut them. Just before I do that, these notches or cuts are about halfway down. There are websites where you can actually go, and there's a calculator. You can put the type of wood you've got, the length of the wood, the radius that you want it to bend, and it will automatically calculate how far apart you need to put these kerfs and also how deep. So this kerfing lark, it can take a while. So what I'm doing, I'm just lining my saw up on my marks. Right, that's 3 down, 21 more to go. Goodness me, I'll be here all day doing this. The way I'm holding these battens up is with a plasterer's clamp, hole clamp. I need one, and then whites, that's holding that up. I'm just putting a couple of screws in here, diagonal to each other, so one's on one side, one's on the other, so it will pull this flat, and then ditto on there and on there. I'm not having the curved ceiling all the way down the boat, probably only to the shower. Good morning. Or should it be afternoon? I'll let you work that one out. I'll give you a clue. I went to the pub last night. Right, made quite a bit of progress since I last spoke to you. I'll just show you around the boat again. It's very crowded at the stern end, as you can probably see there, because everything has been moved back, and I've actually completed the floor now. I've got one little teeny weeny bit to do near the water tank. I'll just show you that. So there's just this little bit to put in here. This will be joined, this piece will be joined with some struts across here. There won't be any weight on there because this is going to be inside the cupboard, and this will be cut away eventually, because this is where my pump and water tank fittings are going. One of the first jobs I want to do, let me just show you this before. I've started to mark out now for the shower, the bathroom area, because what I thought I'd do is to get this bedroom area sort of temporarily constructed, so if I'm over here for a night at any time, I can put a temporary blow up mattress on the bed base and kip over. So I'm going to get that sorted out, I think, first of all. I'm also going to get a piece of wood glued and screwed, put across here. I just have to remove that bit of spray foam, and then it will be ready to start framing this edge out. I need to move some of this wood forward, but as I'm using it up for the bed, I'll be able to reposition that. So it's looking more like a busy boat now, especially now I've taken up the final bit of OSB, which was down here. I'm really pleased with it now. It's getting to feel like a floating home, even though there's nothing in it yet. So once I've got that bit of construction up, I'm going to then start planning out my cable tray for my mains cable. I still haven't decided what to do about the ceiling yet. I'm using grip fill to adhere this wood on. It's a solvent based grab adhesive made by Evo Stick. It's also a filler as well, so if it squashes out, if you join in two bits of materials together and they're not perfectly level or straight, grip fill will fill in between and compensate for the gap. It's a high strength adhesive, goes off really quickly. You've seen me use it before. Just squirt it on, like similar to what you would do a silicone sealant. Put the two materials together, either clamp them or screw them like I'm going to do, so as the sausage, if you like, of grip fill squashes out, it will become, that middle bit will become liquid again. Imagine it's the inside of imagine you're treading on a slug. All its insides will squash out, and that liquid bit of the grip fill, that's the bit that adheres to the two materials, and the air is the catalyst. So I've already put this one on temporarily just to make sure it's nice and level with the angle line here. That's where I'm taking my level from each end of the boat. So I'm just going to remove that now. Temporarily. And then take the screw out of my grip fill that I've used to seal it up, and then just get it to come out. Just put a bit on here. Top of my step is going to be fixed to this. That's why we need this to be really strong, and a bit down this side as well. There we go. Just release that. Just put that bit on there. If it gets on your hands, the only way to remove this is with acetate, or if you're really quick, white spirit. If you haven't got any acetate, then use your nail varnish. I don't use nail varnish these days, so I tend to use white spirit. Just line it up again. I've already had a screw on here, so it should go straight in there. I'm just lining it up with the bottom of the angle iron. Couple more screws in, level it off. only need 1 or 2 screws in this, to be honest. Don't need to countersink them. A magnetic holder is always useful when you're doing a lot of construction work. You can buy these magnetic drill bit holders that just drop into whatever type of drill you're using. Just makes life so much easier. One in there. Let's just put 1 more in. Notice that I'm staggering these so they're not above each other. And the easiest way to check that this is parallel is to just do it by eye, really. Use a bit of wood, could measure it, but I can see that that is parallel. So I know this frame is straight, but all the metal work on the boat is equally straight, so that's where I'm taking my measurements from. Some of these battens are slightly off centre, but it doesn't matter, because like I did on the stern, when I come to put my batten up here, as long as it is parallel to the side of this angle girder, and I take my measurements, my squares from there all the way down the boat, and also square from the floor of the boat, everything working outwards is going to be bang on, and it will allow me to pack out if I need to when I start to fit the cabin sides. In a real world, if I'd have had this as a shell, then I would have made sure that these were put on really carefully, but they haven't been, so I'm compensating for that. Another job I need to do is to cut back the spray foam just below the gunnels on the blue 2x1 battens. That will allow me to fix the Arctic cable to the edge of that, and then it will eventually be covered by the upper side panel. This is what I'm taking off, and eventually that mains cable will be pinned to there, and then wherever I want to socket, it will come down here, and the socket will be in this area. So to form the ring main, the cable will come down here, and then at the end of the cable, that's where the socket will be. I need to do that all the way along the boat. As you can see, makes a bit of a mess, but it's not as messy as having sawdust all over the place. Well, just waiting for the kettle to boil. Thought I'd come out, get the old brasso out, and give these runners a bit of a rub, and then whack some good old WD-40 on them. love the smell of brasso. Reminds me of going into pubs when I was about 5. My mum used to clean in a pub and all you could smell was brasso. Well, that's the before and that's the after. Another job well done, even though I do say so myself. The curvature on the roof is going to end just past the dock hatch, which is behind me there. I don't want it to look like a new build, so I don't want that continuity of the curvature of the ceiling going all the way through, so I want to change it as we come into the saloon or the lounge area, just to give it that bit of an eclectic feel. I don't want it to look like a new build, and I don't want it to look like the inside of a camper van or caravan. There's nothing wrong with those, it's just not my particular taste. So I'll finish my tea and then I'll make a start finishing this floor off. I'll just trim that final bit of floor and then start battening out on the bow of the boat, and then I think I'm going to start measuring up for what sheets of 9mm wood I want in order to line the cabin, and then we'll start phoning around, well, browsing the internet and trying to get some prices on sheet materials.